Okay, hello, my name is Giedrius. And actually, I was hoping when choosing to speak last, you all would be gone. Shame on you. Okay, so I will speak today about the making of Kupako and how I created my own startup accelerator at home. Well, I think it's a stupid name because they made it. I don't know. My choice was this. How I created best startup accelerator in North Lithuania. According to 4 guys, or 3, I don't know. Or this one. Actually, this is quite accurate. This is a true story. But my favorite is this one. Crazy Person's Guide to Advanced Craziness. Sounds very crazy. Okay, so a little backstory. I started Kupako last year, May, and we planned a lot. We as virgin startuppers, we made a lot of mistakes. The biggest one was we skipped alpha and beta product and we jumped to full functionality product. And some people told us that we are crazy and stupid idiots, basically. So yeah, and after some time, development needed to take part, and it was basically 2 weeks before September 1st. And what happened? Well, I call it problems, but normal people call it excuses. So after some madness, first one, basically what happens when you freelance, on summer you have not much work, so basically I had 2-3 days work, and the rest of that I could do whatever I wanted, basically. Most of it I spent it by planning and doing something about Kupako. But happened so, I worked 2 weeks, something like that, from until 1st of September, and something like most accurate clock in the universe. My clients, all of them, jumped on me and required a lot of work. So I needed to take a pause on that, unfortunately. And after some time, there is another excuse. You still need to pay your bills. So what happens? If you're making money, basically you're freelancing, you are not working on startup. And if you're working on startup, you don't have money to pay your bills. And this is like something, you have to be some kind of circus acrobat to balance on these 2 things. And I failed. Maybe it's my problem, I don't know. Maybe it's usual problem. So I failed. And about December I got offer I got from my dad. And it was something, I don't remember actually, but it was something like, come back home, we will feed you, you will build your startup. Basically I was, yeah. So I declined this offer. Yeah, and while I was doing this slide, I decided to be a little bit poetic. So yeah, I had this time and period. I call it journey from Christmas to New Year's Eve. I was partying a lot. that doesn't matter actually. What matters is hangover on after New Year's Eve party at this place. I realized I have 2 options. To stop pretending I'm doing startup, or do something about it and act aggressively and build a damn startup. And I chose to go to startup accelerator in village. Basically I call it startup accelerator because I want to feel good about myself. I don't want to say, oh, I'm 26 years old, I still live with my parents, don't make any money. Yeah, so I went to my village. It was awful. And basically it is in North Lithuania. Yeah, it's white. It is why it's best accelerator in North Lithuania. It's the only one. Yeah, and if you're still not impressed, what happens when you zoom in Google Maps? It's this. How depressing is that? It's cold, winter, and oh, yeah. I felt the same and still feeling the same. So, it would be right to talk about benefits from ordinary startup accelerator on the right, and on the left, my startup accelerator. Basically, if you read this, I won't read, I will save your time. But what happens here? You can draw some equal signs on each point. What is not mentioned here, every startup accelerator takes something from you. Usually it's shares. Mine doesn't take shares. Mainly because my parents doesn't know what this share is. But it takes something else, your social life, and basically 100% of it. Especially if your parents live in a village or something like that. Yeah, so I am in my village now 3 months, almost 3 months, and I think I'm qualified to tell you some tips and tricks. So first one is always have backup money for small purchases, like cigarettes, beer. I don't know how your parents, but mine doesn't feel okay to buy cigarettes for me, still. Yeah, how to do that? For tech people, I think it's very easy. You just install Windows to your friend and that's all. But I did a little bit different thing. Actually, it is very serious now. Don't laugh. I have a friend, designer. I borrowed his unused design for e-commerce shop. I paid $100 to my friend, front-end developer. He made HTML from that. And I uploaded that to teamforest.com. And basically for 12 months I'm doing nothing and still earning money. Now it's $3,000 I think. For first 3 months was $600 a month. So it's nice to have something like this. Tip number 2. Try to plan your work as much as possible. As a developer, I don't like to plan. Nobody does. But remember, you have basically good goal. You want to come back to your normal life as soon as possible. So plan. Tip number 3, never work too much. Well, it's kind of opposite this one, but what I mean is here overworking. First 2 weeks I was so into development, I was working 15 to 17 hours a day for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks I was so tired, I basically stopped working and my productivity was basically very low. So also remember, you want to go back to your normal life as soon as possible. And tip number 4, lock your doors when you are working. Basically, my parents comes to my office, maybe 5 times a day asking when I will finish and do I want to eat. So lock your doors. Okay, on a serious note, maybe you think I'm against the proper startup accelerators, but it's not true. What I mean here, I want you to always to ask yourself a question. Do you really need accelerator? Or you have other options to do job or jobs? Thank you. You can find me on all popular social networks. No, I'm not on Twitter yet. Okay, questions. But do you really want to ask me questions, or we can go to have some beer?